Hey, what is going on, guys? Let's take a look at a big kit today. You guys want a big kit to look at today, don't you? And I know this is one that a lot of you guys have been asking me about. Not this kit in particular, but a lot of you guys keep often asking me, or I keep seeing a lot of talk about Zoids these days, and just kind of always, I guess, actually. So let's take a look at a Zoids kit here. This is one of the recent repackaged versions that Kotobukiya is doing. There was a while where Kotobukiya was not able to produce their HMM Zoids kits because Takara Tomy was releasing all of their Zoids Wilds kits, but now that's kind of dying down a little bit. Kotobukiya is now able to start making their HMM kits, and so they're making these repackaged versions, which is basically like kind of just reproducing the same kits again, and now they're like, a lot of them are including waterslide decal sets to come with them as well too, and that's the case for this one here. So this is the Geno Saurer Repackage version we're going to be taking a look at here from the Kotobukiya line of Zoids HMM kits. Now I have reviewed a couple of Zoids HMM kits before. They're the Highend Master Model line from Kotobukiya, which are fantastic kits. And a couple that I've reviewed before were different Liger variants. So this is going to be the first in the line that I'm reviewing that is not a variant of the Liger, and it looks awesome. So if you guys have not seen my past reviews, you can go back and check those out. But yeah, this line of kits is really super nice. They're super highly detailed. They have a ton of parts in here. As you can see, it's a pretty big box as well too. They're pretty good size as well too. They're quite large model kits. They don't necessarily require glue, but usually in my experience, you'll have a couple of small parts here and there that you'll probably going to want to glue. But for the most part, they're just your normal kind of snap fit kits, so you don't really need that. But let's go ahead and take a look here at the Geno Saurer. As you can tell, just the front of the box looking very cool. The Geno Saurer looking very impressive there with the dark color scheme, the lightning strike going there behind it. So who doesn't love a big robot dinosaur, right? That's cool. All right, let's go ahead and take a look around the rest of the box here and see what we got inside. On the ends of the box there, we just got the EZ026 Geno Saurer Repackage version, Zoids logo there, 1/72nd scale will be the scale of these kits, by the way, and 004, so I guess the Geno Saurer was the fourth kit out in the line, but this is the repackage version, so I don't know if that means it's the fourth in the repackage kind of version line, or if it's the fourth that was originally the fourth one out in the line in the first place. I'm not too sure about that. On the other side, got some different artwork there, basically the artwork from the front of the box here in this case. And then down here on the bottom of the box, we got the illustration of the Geno Saurer and a bunch of information there about it. They're all in Japanese. Got the list price over here at 8,200 yen. So yeah, these kits are big, super detailed, as I said, so they're going to come with a pretty high price tag as well too. 8,200 yen, around $80, $85 for this. Definitely going to be a little bit expensive, as you guys can see. Like I said, it's a pretty big one here. On the other side of the box, we got some product images here of the Geno Saurer with all the tail fins and everything opened up for its big laser cannon blasting form. And just another kind of pose over here, just kind of normal front and back view there, what the kit looks like all painted up. There's the Zoid core and cockpit section there, it looks like, I believe. And then there's look at what the waterslide decal sheet is going to look like. But we'll see that here in a moment once we get this opened up. And let's just go ahead and do that right now, because I'm excited for this guy. So in here, as you might expect, we just got a big bunch of runners, and let's see if we can find the instructions and everything. We'll go through all those runners in a moment, but in the meantime I want to take a look at the instruction manual and the water slides. The instruction manual looks the same as with the other past releases that I've taken a look at, so they haven't changed that at all here with the repackaged version. We just got a picture of that on there on the front. On the back, some more product shots, so these are good reference images for painting the kit if you're planning on painting in the correct colors. But it is all molded in pretty much the correct colors as well too. I think for how many parts you haven't included in here, the color separation and everything should be pretty spot on. Here we have like a CG image there of the kit that looks pretty cool, and a bunch more information there, all in Japanese. So let's just go ahead and continue on here to the next page where we have a breakdown of each different section of the Zoid. Over here we have some cool illustration work there. That's pretty interesting looking. You got the big cannons there on the back. Illustration work there of the head as well too. That's pretty cool. On the next page we have our parts list, and then it gets right on into the construction with building the head first, and the rest of the manual is just going to be going through the construction as normal, so you don't need to see that every single page of that, but we'll just kind of fast forward here to the back where we have the final assembly and then some more illustration work here, which looks pretty cool, of the body there, so you can get a look at that. Some very detailed illustrations here of the kind of Zoid core and cockpit section there, and then some more illustrations here, so that's really cool. You got lots of really nice illustrations, so if you're a Zoids fan, I mean, this is really nice. I am somewhat of a Zoids fan, certainly not a huge Zoids fan. I watched it back in the day when it was on Toonami, and I enjoyed it well enough, but that's all I really know about Zoids, so I'm certainly no expert and certainly no super fan, but this is all still really cool to have included there in the manual. Here we have our color guide as well too. It's all in Japanese, but you can sort that out if you want to paint it up in the official colors there. And then over here it's showing you like how to apply the waterslide decals, but it doesn't give you any actual guide there, and even on the product sample there it doesn't show it with waterslide decals on it. So I'm wondering if these are images not of this like particular repackaged version, but these are just the same images that were used with the original release of the kit, and they didn't take new pictures of the repackaged version maybe. So there's not really any photos that show where the water slides are meant to go on the actual kit, unfortunately, so you're just kind of left to sort that out by yourself. But let's go ahead and take a look at these water slides here. I mean, basically what it seems to be is just a bunch of just kind of markings that you can kind of place wherever on there anyway, so they're not really super specific to any particular section of the kit, it looks like, for the most part. But a lot of really cool logos you got on there. You got the EZ026 and just these kind of a little bit more generic caution markings, and then just these really interesting markings on here in yellow, white, red, there's a fly on my thumb, and black. So yeah, some really nice markings in here. So these are really one great thing about making great kits even better with these repackaged versions of the HMM kits that have been coming out recently. So very nice. So first up here is the core piece, just molded in clear orange, so just make sure you hang on to that, don't drop that and let it roll away and lose it. We also got this K piece here, which is going to be our action base adapter, it looks like, and some polycaps which are molded in here in clear brown. Now these are for 1/72 scale Geno Saurer. This is a PC2 runner. We've got 2 of these, like I said, in dark brown. You've also got a little PC1 for a couple more polycaps here. Right, then getting into here with runner A, and as you can see, a lot of really nice details on here. And it seems like the first bunch of runners are all just going to be for like kind of what would be the Zoids frame, the inner frame of this basically, where like I said, there's a ton of detail. Here's runner B for some more of these parts in like a super dark gray, basically black kind of color. Runner C as well, just some more of that. Then we've got 2 of this C runner, and some more of that continuing on here to the D runner as well. We've got 2 of the D runner here also. Runner E, however, a smaller runner of some of the main joint parts here, it looks like. Runner F getting into our purple color parts for the kit. Again, you can see lots of really nice detail on these and a really nice color as well too. And runner G, a pretty interesting kind of shaped runner there, but we've got 2 of this G runner for some more purple parts. And then a few more purple parts here in ABS on the H runner. Runner I switching to a kind of really dark maroon kind of color for these parts here. Some more of that here on the J runner, and we've got 2 of these. Runner K in the same color, but a couple of little joint parts there in ABS plastic. And the same thing for runner L as well. We've got 2 of this L runner. The runner M is a few parts here in red for some nice little vent accents. And runner N, the same thing, but just for some larger vent sections there. We've got 2 of this N runner. Runner O is some parts here in off-white, including some parts there it looks like for the teeth, and then a bunch of other little white details, or off-white details I should say. And the rest of our off-white parts here on runner P as well. And we've got 2 of these P runners. And then we've got a whole bunch of little small runners here. Runner Q is in a dark bluish gray color. Runner R is a few little piston parts in some plated gold, which looks very nice. We got 2 of this R runner. And then runner S is in some really nice plated silver for kind of the opposite end of those chrome plated parts. Runner T is some parts here in plain clear, which look very nice. And runner U we actually have 2 of, so it looks like you got 2 in plain clear or 2 in clear red, so I think maybe you can just choose between which one you want to end up using in the kit. Runner V is some of those classic Zoids style like joint covers there, and you've got 3 of this V runner for a whole bunch of those. Runner W here is also in a dark maroonish kind of color, but it's a softer runner here for these kind of piping sections there, and we've got 2 of this W runner. Runner X, a couple more parts here in black. Runner Y, a couple more parts here in purple ABS. Runner Z1, a few more parts here in the dark maroon ABS. And finally runner Z2 for a couple more parts here in the off-white color. So there it is, guys. Like you can see, there's a ton of parts in these kits, so they take a little while to put together, but that's all for the best. You kind of build up all this big main frame section first, and then add up all the armor and everything onto their weapons and all that. So it's a pretty fun experience building these kits. It certainly takes a while. It's basically like building a big master grade kit, basically. And they just have all that really nice detail. I know I keep saying that, but man, the details on them is really fantastic. And you'll see that as soon as it comes together. So let me go ahead and get this built up, and we'll see how it looks. Alright guys, so here it is all built up. Now the actual review portion of this video is going to be relatively simple because there's not necessarily really a whole lot to go over with this kit other than the fact that it just looks really awesome. It can do a lot in that it does have a fair amount of articulation kind of all over the place. Everything kind of moves on this, which is great, but without anything glued in place, it is a little bit fragile when you're moving stuff around. Things will tend to pop off, parts here and there and things like that are just gonna be, you gotta be careful with these kits. I would definitely recommend having glue on hand. Now that said, obviously as you can see, everything will go together without glue. I haven't glued anything except for one tiny little vent part there on the top of the legs. If you guys watched the live build of this, I did glue that part just so that would stay on there. But other than that, no glue is required. It's just that whether you're going to be painting the kit or not, I would highly recommend just having a little bit of glue for a few parts here and there, just to save yourself the headache when you're moving the kit around trying to pose it, things aren't popping off and you're losing pieces or anything like that. And then as far as anything that the kit comes with, it really doesn't come with a whole lot of accessories other than what you see just on the kit there itself. This is basically just the one main kit, but what you do have here is a action base adapter, which will allow you to put it up on an action base, and then an alternate gun to put on the head. So if you prefer the look of one gun or the other on the top of the head, you can swap that out if you like one or the other. Now, the one gun that I have on there mainly is the non-symmetrical gun. It's just one solid piece. The alternative gun is actually made up of 3 different pieces and can actually move up and down a little bit, so you might prefer that, but I like the asymmetrical one, and that's the one that's pictured on the box art, so that's the one I'm going to stick with here for the review. Right, so I will attempt to go through some of the articulation here with you guys, but first of all, I mean, just this kit, the really great thing about this is just how detailed it is. I mean, just all the detail and all the color separation that you have with this straight out the box is amazing. It looks fantastic just straight out of the box, but obviously you can tell if you went in and did all the painting and everything on this, it's gonna look even that much better. Super detailed kits and tons of parts. If you guys, again, if you saw the live stream, you saw this took quite a while to build because there was just a ton of parts for this. But also here in the chest, first of all, is our cockpit and core section. So this will open up here, and then you can see the pilot's little feet just sticking out because he's up in there, but you can't really do anything with that. You'd have to remove this piece here, and then in the process of that, you break your pilot. And that's just what happens, just cut right in half every time he opens the cockpit hatch. That's why he just has to stay in there. But we do have a molded seat detail in there, and the pilot figure just sits in there. It doesn't actually plug onto anything in there. It's just sitting in there, and that's actually made up of 4 pieces for the pilot. It's not just one single piece like we typically have from Bandai. So that'll close up, this will close up, and then this slots into this big gaping hole in his chest. And it slots into place, and it doesn't feel all that tight in there until you kind of press the sides of the chest kind of closed. Those kind of close up a little bit to kind of help keep that in place in there, and then there you go. So the arms will rotate there at the base. You have another point of articulation here in like the elbow. There goes the cockpit, just fell out of there again. You have a rotation point below the upper arm there at the elbow as well. The hand part is just on a little ball joint there, so you can move that around, rotate that. Every single one of these claws is individually articulated and very sharp, so it really poke your fingers when you're trying to move these around. But those look really cool on there. The head, of course, also can rotate here. You can bring this up and down a little bit like that. Now the neck can't really, like at the base of the neck where that plugs into the body, can't articulate that much here, unfortunately, and I think it's just because of the way the parts fit together. You can kind of move that up and down and side to side a little bit, but now I can see the arms now coming off. Okay, so sorry, I had to, in the process of fixing that arm back, the turret or cannons came off the top, and this is something else I'll also just point out while we're here. This basically plugs on the top here with those 4 little tiny little itty bitty pegs here that plug onto this little part here, and that's hardly much of a connection. So definitely recommend gluing this connection piece onto the top there. So that glues onto the top of there, and this fits onto here via a peg. And so the poly cap in here is quite tight. So like the strength you need to rotate this around or to move these up and down is actually stronger than the connection to the top here. So moving the cannons in it around in any way is just going to break this off the top of there. So what I would recommend doing, if you're not going to glue this, take this off, move the cannons how you want to move them. If you want to have them more angled down, for example, move that and then put them back onto here. Otherwise, like I said, just glue that connection piece down onto there. So that'll be on there more securely. But as I was saying with the head, of course, the mouth opens up. This cannon, like our main cannon for the gimmick we'll get to here in a moment, that opens up like that, and that's meant to be kind of straight on so that we can get everything all lined up. In the legs, of course, we have a bunch of articulation. Those can like angle forward and back, and they can rotate there at the base. You also have some rotation here at the knee. This front knee part also moves, and another piece just fell off inside of there. This is a particularly tricky piece to fix because it kind of attaches up inside of there. Oh, and I'm so sad the camera wasn't rolling for you guys to see that, but I was trying to put that piece back on and the kit just exploded in half. But I'm glad that it did, because now it gives me the chance to show you guys a problem with this kit and just why I said that you need to glue it. So you see those two little connection pegs there and these two little holes there. That's all that holds the front and back half of this kit together. I guess like this little piece, this little square piece down here sort of fits into this little vent down there at the bottom as well too, but it's not really much of a connection so much as it is just it's meant to look like those pieces feed into each other. Well, they don't really connect much of it together. So like I said, there's definitely going to be some glue recommended for keeping these parts together. And then just for a real quick size comparison there, just compare with a high grade kit so you can see how large this is going to be. And actually, you know, if you really wanted to have some fun with it, having some sort of high grade kit or something riding on the top of this could certainly be something you could do. So I hope you guys will forgive me, but rather than going through the rest of articulation in detail, I just can't really handle the stress, to be honest. I will just show you a couple of different poses here to wrap up the review. Basically, you guys can see there's a bunch of articulation everywhere, and this is a really great reminder for me to you guys that this is a model kit, not a toy. I can already see the comments now. People are going to be saying, oh man, why am I going to pay that much for a kit that just falls apart every time you touch it? And I understand that. Yes, I'm not defending Kotobukiya. Definitely some of those connections, they should have engineered them in a little bit better way to help keep those together. But you guys just need to remember that, yes, this kit, and there's certain parts of this kit that definitely come apart very easily, but it is a very complex kit, and it is a model kit, not a toy. It's not really meant to be moved around and played with a bunch. It's meant to just be, you know, built into a particular pose, however you might want to pose it, and just put on the shelf, and then just look cool as it is, and it does that very well. I mean, I think a lot of people get very spoiled by Bandai in that you can kind of do whatever. You can take a Bandai kit, model kit, and throw it against the wall, and then like nothing will come off it. And of course you do have some kits that are a little bit more fragile, but this is a quite big and quite heavy kit, so just keep in mind that you're gonna want to just build this up, put it into a cool pose, and put it on the shelf, and then just not really mess around with it. So that is gonna be my review here for this kit. I highly recommend checking out the HMM series if you guys are fans of Zoids kits, whether it's this particular one or a variant of this or any of the other different kits in the line. These repackaged versions are great with they come with all the waterslide decals as well too. Those will look really nice on the finished kit as well. And while these kits are pretty expensive, I mean, as you can see, they're quite large, very detailed, and just really impressive kits. So definitely check them out if you're interested. So if you guys have any other further questions or comments, of course, about this, do feel free to let me know there down below. Thank you guys all so much for watching. And again, go back and watch the live stream build of this if you're interested in seeing how it all went together. And thank you once again to USA Gundam Store, of course, for making this all possible. Now, of course, we're not still yet at the moment able to sell these Zoids kits at USA Gundam Store, or just in America in general. They're not able to be sold, but hopefully that'll change sometime in the future, and these will become more available for those guys, those of you in the States. But if you do want to check out everything else, Kotobukiya and Bandai and everything else there we have on the store there at USA Gundam Store, do check the site. The link is down below, as well as my coupon code there. You can save 10% off everything in the store, so check that out. And thank you guys, as always, so much for all your support, liking the video, commenting, subscribing. All that's greatly appreciated. Till next time, I hope you're all having a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.